Welcome back to the absolute chaos, everyone. Welcome back to the Snark side. I am, like, so beyond ready to unpack all of this garbage fire television with you. Snark Squad, babes, if you are locking in with us tonight on a Wednesday, just know you are literally my favorite people on this planet.
It is the ultimate collision of manufactured drama and actual devastating human reality. Prepare your minds, babes, because today we are dissecting the most aggressive lack of self-awareness ever captured on premium streaming.
It is aggressively bad. But okay, before we get into the heavy stuff, the breakups and the absolute tragedy of these people's romantic lives, we are drinking something a little different tonight. Put the wine away. Put the tequila down.
We have entered our gut health era.
Yes. Tonight we are sipping on Olipop.
How very responsible and adult of us.
Yeah.
A prebiotic soda.
I know, right? I feel like I have my life totally together just holding a little aluminum can.
Yeah.
And babes, I need to be completely 100% clear with you right now. This is not an ad.
Definitely not sponsored.
Not sponsored at all, but it is actually genuinely incredible. Like, I am currently sipping on the strawberry vanilla, and it's giving me sitting on a porch in the summer vibes.
Right.
But with the added bonus of feeling oddly responsible on a Wednesday evening watch party.
Yeah.
It's chaotic to drink soda at night, but like the fiber cancels out the chaos.
It's carbonated cognitive dissonance.
Wow.
But I will say the vintage cola flavor is aggressively decent.
It is so good.
And let's be entirely transparent with the audience. If Olipop does want to sponsor this circus, we are completely available to sell out.
Totally available.
Our morals are highly flexible for prebiotic currency. Slide into the DMs.
Send us the pallets, please. But honestly, that idea of cognitive dissonance, of holding two completely opposing thoughts in your head and just running with it, it has been haunting me all week.
Oh boy, what happened?
Because I had a moment at work that sent me into a total tailspin.
Naturally.
I was treating a patient doing a very standard dental procedure, right? And I asked them, hey, does this hurt?
As one does.
Right? And they said, yes, a little. So I stopped and I said, okay, I'm going to adjust the angle here. Let me know if it gets better.
Standard protocol.
And babes, they look me dead in the eye, completely serious, and say, stop gaslighting me into thinking this doesn't hurt.
Wow. The psychological vocabulary of the general public has been completely irreparably destroyed.
I literally had to step back from the chair.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what? How is checking on your pain levels and adjusting my technique gaslighting?
It is not. At all.
Have we entirely ruined this word?
We have. We absolutely have. It's a phenomenon called semantic bleaching.
Semantic bleaching.
Yeah. It's where a word loses its specific powerful meaning because it just gets overused in casual contexts. Reality TV ruined it. Therapy speak on TikTok ruined it.
What is true?
People now think gaslighting just means someone disagreeing with my perception of events or someone telling me something I don't want to hear.
Like it's just a synonym for lying now.
Exactly. But no, the barista isn't gaslighting you about the oat milk upcharge. It's just corporate policy. True gaslighting requires actual intent.
Right.
It requires a systematic, malicious dismantling of someone's sanity so they can no longer trust their own reality.
Well, wait, I actually push back on that a little bit. Does it always have to be this Machiavellian, malicious master plan?
Yes.
Because I think sometimes people gaslight out of pure self-preservation.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to face the consequences of their actions, so they just instinctively distort reality to protect themselves.
Well, just lying.
But it's not always a master villain twirling a mustache, you know? Sometimes it's just a coward trying to avoid a fight.
Self-preservation lying is just lying. If a guy tells you he didn't text his ex because he doesn't want you to yell at him, he's a liar.
True.
If he tells you that you imagine the text, that you're crazy, and he starts hiding your phone so you feel paranoid, that is gaslighting.
Okay, fair. That is a huge distinction because I have actually experienced the real thing, like fully unhinged romantic delusion gaslighting.
Oh, do tell.
Babes, I had an ex who would purposefully move my keys. I'm not joking.
That is psychotic.
He would take my keys from the hook by the door, put them in the refrigerator behind the Brita pitcher, and then sit on the couch and watch me have a total mental breakdown for 45 minutes trying to leave for work.
Behind the Brita pitcher.
Yes. And when I finally found them, he would look at me with these dead shark eyes and say, you really need to get evaluated for early onset memory loss. You always put things in the fridge when you're stressed. It's getting sad.
See, that is gaslighting. That is an actual crime.
Right.
That is a man who belongs in a federal penitentiary, not a romantic relationship. He was actively manufacturing a scenario to make you doubt your neurological function.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And he did it just to feel powerful.
Now, my favorite personal story of romantic delusion, which leans more toward absurd lying than gaslighting, was an ex who tried to convince me that the reason he was texting his ex-girlfriend at 2 in the morning was because his phone had a glitch.
A glitch.
Yes, a glitch that automatically forwarded his draft messages from 3 years ago.
A 2 a.m. time-traveling draft glitch. Are you kidding me?
A glitch in the Apple ecosystem. He looked at me completely deadpan and said, "You know how Tim Cook is."
Oh my God.
The updates mess everything up. The cloud just rained down old drafts.
The cloud rained down old drafts. The absolute audacity of men.
And the worst part, for exactly 4 seconds, I actually considered Googling iPhone draft rain glitch.
No, you didn't.
I did. That is the terrifying power of a committed lie. When someone says something with zero hesitation, your brain momentarily assumes they must know something you don't.
It's like they put on a mask and just become these entirely different people to hide the truth. They just construct this elaborate performance to avoid looking bad.
Well, speaking of elaborate performances and putting on masks to avoid reality, it isn't just limited to lying men.
Oh.
I have been deep spiraling into nighttime TikTok routines recently, and it is the exact same psychological mechanism. I am genuinely concerned for the human race.
Oh, the 14-step nighttime skincare routines. I'm on that algorithm too, babes.
Shout out to dermatologists. We respect the science of skincare, but what are these influencers doing?
It's a lot.
I am watching women go to bed looking like Daft Punk.
Literally.
They have an eye mask, mouth tape, a chin strap pulling their jaw up, and a full-face LED red light therapy mask strapped to their skull.
The mouth tape is what gets me.
And then they try to sleep perfectly flat on their backs like vampires so they don't cause a micro wrinkle. Okay, is this wellness, or are we preparing for cryogenic freezing?
But wait, I kind of get it.
You do not.
I do. Because if you are on camera all day, your face is literally your income. It's an investment. Like, I saw a girl sleeping with silk gloves on so her hand cream wouldn't rub off onto her silk sheets.
That is a sensory nightmare.
And while part of me thought, what happens if there's a fire? You're going to stumble out of the house looking like a glowing red cyborg bride.
Exactly.
Another part of me was like, honestly, I bet her hands are incredibly soft.
It is not about soft hands. It is about the illusion of control in an uncontrollable world.
Wait, that's so deep.
It's the sociology of the modern wellness performance. We feel completely out of control over our politics, our economy, our relationships, so we hyperfixate on the absolute micromanagement of our physical bodies.
Wow.
If I tape my mouth shut and blast my epidermis with infrared light, maybe my life won't be a chaotic mess. It's an anxiety response disguised as self-care.
Okay, when you put it like that, it sounds absolutely exhausting. You're preparing for a camera that isn't even there when you're sleeping.
Precisely.
But you know who actually does have cameras constantly on them and who desperately needs a red light therapy mask to cure their absolute lack of self-awareness?
Oh, I think I know where this is going.
Every single person on the cast of Love Island. Beyond the Villa. Season 2, episodes 5 and 6, babes.
A phenomenal pivot. Let's get into the absolute garbage of these episodes.
Let's get into the recap, because I am completely unwell over the events of this week.
Where do we even start?
Let's start with our girl Clark and the farm boy Flex, Taylor. So we open episode 5 in Los Angeles, right? And Clark is doing a photo shoot to build her professional LA modeling portfolio.
The portfolio, right.
But help me understand the visual language of this scene. Why is she doing stiff corporate headshots on a stark white background?
Because she has no idea what she's doing.
Her entire brand is Instagram baddie.
Oh.
She wears bikinis and streetwear. Why is she dressed like she's updating her LinkedIn for a mid-level management position at a regional bank?
Because she is suffering from the classic reality star scattergun approach to brand management. She has no fundamental idea what her actual product is.
Right.
Influencer brand management relies on parasocial authenticity. Your audience wants to feel like they're your friend hanging out with you. A stark, white, clinical studio contradicts her established aesthetic entirely.
That's so weird to watch.
She wants to be an influencer. She's studying psychology. She wants to do high-fashion modeling. She is just throwing everything at a white wall to see what sticks, instead of cultivating a specific niche.
But isn't she just trying to pivot? Like, you can't be an Instagram reality star forever. Maybe she wants to be taken seriously as a host or a psychology podcaster, so she needs professional photos.
A pivot requires a bridge. You don't jump from villa-dwelling reality star to corporate professionalism overnight. Your audience gets whiplash.
That makes sense.
But Frankly, the photography aesthetic was the absolute least of her problems in that scene. We really need to talk about Hannah.
Oh my gosh, do not even get me started on Hannah.
Hannah crashing the shoot.
Dressed as a sexy Mrs. Claus, holding her cat, Paris, who was also dressed for Christmas.
It was a masterclass in narcissistic supply.
Hannah literally walks into Clark's professional moment, says Clark is running late, and completely derails the booking by demanding the photographer take free Christmas card photos of her and her cat.
Incredible.
I was furious on Clark's behalf.
Huh.
This is Clark's career moment. She is paying for this studio time. And Hannah just steamrolls in because she cannot handle a camera flashing for someone else.
Reality television creates a zero-sum game for attention. Cast members are conditioned to believe that if someone else is getting screen time, they are actively losing it.
That sounds so exhausting.
It is. Hannah cannot tolerate a single camera lens focusing on a narrative that doesn't involve her. As someone on the internet perfectly pointed out, the framing of that scene looked exactly like the poster for a Hallmark movie called Evil Fiancé from the City.
Wait, that is so accurate.
You have Clark in a sharp suit looking serious, and Hannah lurking in the background in red velvet holding a feline. It was pure supervillain blocking.
It was so deeply disrespectful, and Clark just laughs it off because she doesn't know how to assert boundaries. But speaking of boundaries, we transition from the corporate void of L.A. to the absolute mud of Taylor's farm in Oklahoma.
The contrast is jarring.
It really is. And Chris Seeley flies in, and the second he steps out of the car, they hand him a pair of cowboy boots and tell him to muck the stalls.
Which was hilarious.
Pick up horse poop with his bare hands.
City folk getting humbled on a farm is a trope as old as television itself. But watching Chris flailing around with a shovel, looking completely terrified of a pile of hay, was high comedy. He has zero practical survival skills.
And Old Biscuit, the miniature pony.
Oh, poor Old Biscuit.
Chris Seeley is a tall, lanky, heavy athlete. When they put him on that miniature horse, I was yelling at my screen. That borders on animal cruelty.
It's definitely questionable.
That pony's knees were actively buckling under the weight of this D-list celebrity. I am starting a GoFundMe to liberate Old Biscuit immediately.
Old Biscuit has seen horrors we cannot comprehend. But let's look at the actual mechanics of the Oklahoma situation, because the power dynamic between Clark and Taylor is incredibly dark. We need to analyze the diner scene.
Yes. Okay, so they go to a diner, and Taylor looks at her across the table with this totally flat affect and asks, what opportunities are you actually pursuing in L.A.?
Chilling.
Babes, my stomach dropped. The tone was absolutely freezing.
Exactly. We need to examine the financial leashing happening here. It wasn't a supportive boyfriend asking about his partner's day. It was an investor checking in on his failing startup.
Ouch.
Taylor is funding her entire life right now. He flew her to L.A. He is paying for things. And there's this chilling, unspoken ultimatum hanging over their eggs and bacon.
He has a 2 years of vet school left, right?
Yes. He is essentially giving her a 2-year LA phase to get this influencing bug out of her system.
See, I don't know if I agree that it's this insidious, manipulative leash. I really think he's just being a realist.
You're being too romantic.
No, listen. Taylor has a concrete life plan. He's going to be a vet. He has a farm. Clark is a grown woman choosing to accept his money. She has no plan. Isn't he just being a practical partner by saying, hey, I'm funding this? What is the actual goal here?
Not at all.
You can't call him controlling when she is actively, happily consenting to be a pampered girlfriend.
I vehemently disagree. Consenting to a comfortable trap doesn't make it less of a trap. Taylor is weaponizing his capital.
Weaponizing his capital.
He is a man who makes a plan and executes it. His plan is, I will be a vet in Oklahoma. You will be my wife on this farm. I will indulge your little Hollywood fantasy for 24 months because I know you lack the business acumen to make enough money to sustain it yourself.
My God.
I will let you fail comfortably on my dime. It is the sunk cost fallacy applied to a relationship. He is investing money now so that when she inevitably gives up, she owes him her future in Oklahoma. It's financial control wrapped in a cowboy hat and a supportive smile.
Wow. When you frame it as letting her fail comfortably, that is genuinely terrifying.
Because it is.
Because she is just sitting there in the diner like, I don't know, maybe I'll do a podcast about therapy. Maybe I'll model.
Yeah.
She has no urgency.
Yeah.
Clark, babes, wake up.
Yeah.
Your 5-year plan is currently written in manure.
Quite literally.
He does not want you to succeed in L.A.
Right.
He wants you to realize L.A. is too hard, so you come back to the tractors.
Precisely. It's an illusion of freedom. He gives her just enough rope to wander the yard, but the collar is still firmly attached to the porch.
It is so depressing.
And the physical toll of trying to make it in that LA influencer scene without a plan is immense. Which brings us perfectly to the health crisis of the week. Because if LA is slowly draining Clark's independence, it literally hospitalized Amaya.
This was actually so scary to watch. Amaya was hospitalized completely alone for 8 days with a severe Crohn's disease flare-up.
8 days is significant.
8 days in a hospital bed. And she said in her confessional that she genuinely felt like she was going to pass away. That is terrifying, especially for someone so young.
It is objectively awful, and chronic illness is a serious issue. But we have to look at the environmental triggers here.
Right.
The gut-brain axis is incredibly sensitive. The physical toll of the post-reality TV press tour, the constant cross-country flights, the endless drinking at promotional events, the severe lack of sleep, and the immense psychological stress of trying to stay relevant in the algorithm, it will absolutely destroy your immune system.
Because of this.
Cortisol floods your body when you are under constant public scrutiny. And high cortisol triggers autoimmune responses. Kayla from season 1 literally warned her about this exact phenomenon on a podcast 3 months ago.
I felt so deeply empathetic for her. I really did.
Until
She got out of the hospital and we had to suffer through the scene at her dad's house. The introduction of Papa Papaya.
I need to take a massive sip of my Olipop before we discuss this, because I almost legally blinded myself rolling my eyes. The sheer cringe of parents on reality TV requires a sociological study.
So Clark comes over to help Amaya pack up her childhood bedroom because she's moving out. Amaya's dad is just standing there in the doorway.
Urging.
And Clark completely unnecessarily looks at this grown man and says, "Oh my God, you smell so good."
Why? Just why?
Which, let's pause, is already a weird boundary-crossing thing to say to your friend's father on national television.
It's wildly inappropriate, but it pales in comparison to his response.
Papaya looks back at her, does this slow, creepy smirk, and says, "I taste good too."
I wanted to crawl into my television set, unplug it from the inside, and live in the dark forever.
I physically shrieked. What parent says that on camera? To their daughter's friend.
The kind of parent who realizes they have a fractional second of screen time on a premium streaming reality spinoff and wants to secure their own brand deal. Parents of reality stars fall into 2 distinct categories. They either act like terrified hostages who are praying for the cameras to leave, or they try to outmess the actual cast members to get a taste of the fame economy.
He definitely chose the second option.
Papaya chose the path of maximum chaos. He saw his daughter get 1 million followers, and he thought, if I say something incredibly gross, maybe Barstool Sports will meme me. It is the darkest side of the attention economy.
It was repulsive.
Yeah.
But honestly, it's the only brief distraction we got from the absolute mean girl energy radiating from Amaya, Hannah, and Iris later in the episode.
The Trinity.
Yes, the Trinity. They are fully activated villains right now, and their primary target is Belle.
Let's break down the mechanics of this clique, because it is a textbook example of in-group and out-group sociology.
Lay it on me.
You have Bella, Coco, and Gracyn, who are clearly on the outs. They are the out-group. Bella is attempting to be the peacekeeper. She's trying to mediate the tension. And the Trinity is dragging her mercilessly for it.
It's so hard to watch.
Amaya literally says in a confessional, who made Bella the therapist of the season?
Which is so rich coming from Amaya, considering Clark actually is studying to be a therapist, and Amaya has no problem with her. I went on a full rant in my living room about this.
As you should.
Bella is just trying to stop these girls from looking like bitter, cliquey high schoolers. She is trying to save their collective reputations, and Amaya is furious.
Let's look at why Amaya is furious. It's not about Belle being annoying. Amaya explicitly states she doesn't want to be friends with Belle because Belle is friends with Brian.
Right.
Brian is Amaya's ex. Amaya is enforcing an incredibly strict loyalty test. If you speak to the man who broke my heart, you were dead to me.
But wait, I kind of get that. Like, if my ex humiliated me on national television, I wouldn't want my close girlfriends hanging out with them either. That feels like a very normal boundary to set.
It would be a normal boundary if it were applied consistently, but it brings us to the most glaring double standard of the entire season.
No, I know what you're going to say.
Guess who else is absolute besties with Brian? Jeremiah.
Yeah.
Jeremiah and Brian are lifting weights together, taking improv comedy classes together, going to Oklahoma together. Does Amaya cut off Jeremiah? Does Amaya drag Jeremiah in her confessionals?
Nope.
No. She meets up with Jeremiah for drinks with TJ's mom.
Oh my God, you're totally right. Why does Jeremiah get a pass?
Because of internalized misogyny and clout preservation. Jeremiah is part of the cool kid inner circle. He has a massive following. Amaya won't risk alienating a popular male cast member.
But ballet is fair game.
Exactly. Belle is an easy target. She's quieter, she has fewer followers. Amaya is enforcing loyalty tests on the women that she would never dare enforce on the men. It is classic insecure clique behavior. She has let the fame of winning the show completely warp her sense of human decency.
It is so disappointing. I loved Iris and Amaya in the villa. They were the fun, supportive girls, and now they are insufferable. It's like they forgot they're still being filmed, or they think the audience will just blindly support them no matter how nasty they act because they were the fan favorites.
Reality TV isolates you. You spend a month in a villa where your reality is entirely controlled by producers. Then you come out, you gain 1 million followers overnight, and you form an echo chamber with the other cast members.
So true.
You lose all perspective on how a normal human being behaves in polite society. They genuinely think bullying Belly is a flex. They think they are giving boss energy, when in reality, they are giving peaked in high school.
Well, if the friendships are toxic and transactional, the romantic relationships are a straight-up psychological thriller. Let's talk about Chris and Coco.
Ugh, the mistake under the mistletoe.
Chris has been bringing up this mistletoe to Coco for 3 entire months. 3 months of, oh, when we find mistletoe, we're going to kiss. I can't wait for the mistletoe.
Endless buildup.
He built it up into this monumental event, and then they finally do it at Hannah's sexy holiday party.
And it was the most agonizingly forced, dry, unromantic collision of faces I have ever witnessed in my entire life.
It was a cousin kiss. It was a closed-mouth peck. They were on Love Island, a show where people are doing the absolute most in a bedroom shared by 12 other sweaty people. And these two give us a church-appropriate peck after 90 days of build-up.
Chris operates like a robot programmed with bad 1990s rom-com scripts. He thinks the concept of mistletoe is romantic, but he has zero actual chemistry with the woman standing under it.
Zero.
He likes the idea of a showmance. He likes the screen time that a showmance provides.
Yeah.
He does not actually want the reality of dating Coco, and he proves it immediately afterward.
He absolutely does. They go to the Clippers game. Coco is in heels, dressed up, looking incredible. And Chris walks miles ahead of her leaving the arena, just striding off into the distance, completely ignoring her.
Classic.
And when she gets back to the car and gets mad, rightfully mad, he has the absolute audacity to complain that her alter ego Courtney personality came out.
Let's analyze the proxemics of this moment.
Well,
Proxemics. It's the study of human use of space and how it affects behavior and communication. Subconsciously, the physical space you maintain with a partner in public signals your internal view of the relationship.
oh, that is fascinating.
Walking side by side implies equal partnership. Walking slightly ahead but checking back implies leadership and protection. Walking 20 feet ahead without ever turning around, that implies you are a solo entity and the person behind you is a burden.
Yes. There is literally a viral TikTok trend going around right now that is just women filming their boyfriends walking ahead of them. The thesis of the trend is exactly that. Men who walk ahead of you, who don't check to see if you are safely beside them in a crowd, do not respect you.
It's an interesting physical manifestation.
It's a subconscious manifestation of how they view your worth. You are an afterthought. You are trailing behind their life.
I rarely agree with TikTok pop psychology, but in this case, the spatial awareness argument is sound. Chris is so self-involved he doesn't even notice she's missing until he needs an audience to laugh at his jokes.
So toxic.
And then he complains about her getting angry. If you don't like her Courtney alter ego, Chris, maybe don't trigger her by acting like a single man on a solo hike in downtown LA.
And then the ultimate betrayal. The club flub.
Oh, the club flub.
They go to Oklahoma. They go to the Oak Room, which they keep calling a high-end lounge, even though it looks like a sticky-floored college bar. And Chris is caught on video holding hands with another girl.
Unbelievable.
He's literally leading another girl through the crowd by her fingertips.
What's fascinating here is the sheer friction between his produced self and his actual desires. Brian, of all people, gave Chris a stern warning before they went out.
Brian, the king of fumbling.
Right. Brian, who fumbled Amaya by acting stupid in a club, looked Chris in the eye and said, "Do not repeat my mistakes. You are talking to Coco. Be on your best behavior." And Chris immediately goes and grabs a stranger's hand.
Why does he do it? Is he just that clueless? Does he forget cameras exist?
He's not oblivious. At 1 a.m., after a few drinks in an Oklahoma bar, the show pauses in his mind. The produced rom-com version of Chris turns off and his actual personality takes over.
Yikes.
The mistletoe is for the cameras. The hand-holding in the club is his truth. He simply does not care enough about Coco to override his impulse to flirt.
Throw the whole man away. Throw him out. But, okay, if Chris is a man failing to start a relationship, we have to move to a man whose relationship is tragically crashing and burning into a million pieces. Gracyn and Austin.
This is a heavy one.
And I think this is where the collapse of the produced self becomes actually devastating.
The coffee shop confrontation. This is where reality completely bleeds through the manufactured drama.
It was brutal to watch. Gracyn is sitting there heartbroken because she thought meeting his family meant they were seriously dating. She met his mom. She texted with his sisters.
A reasonable assumption.
And Austin is sitting across from her, dodging eye contact, claiming it was just bestie vibes. He literally defends himself by saying, "I take Charlie to dinner too."
As if taking a fellow male reality star to grab a burger is the emotional equivalent of bringing a woman you are physically intimate with home to meet your mother.
It's so insulting.
The boy math is staggering. He is willfully equating completely different social currencies to avoid accountability.
And then he openly declares on national television that he is on a hoe spree.
Correct.
He said it like it was a LinkedIn career update. "I am pleased to announce my transition into a full-time hoe spree, effective immediately."
It was a very bizarre choice of words.
I wanted to scream at the TV. I was so angry at him.
It is incredibly easy to be angry at him in that moment. He looks callous, manipulative, and cruel, but we have to drop the snark for a second and examine the massive, real-world context that changes everything about this scene.
Yeah, we really do. Snark Squad, babes, if you haven't seen the news, this completely recontextualizes the entire episode. After filming Wrapped, Austin went on TMZ's Previously On podcast and made a massive, heartbreaking revelation.
He revealed that during the filming of Beyond the Villa, he had secretly relapsed on opioids. He was in active addiction.
It's so sad.
He was going through severe physical withdrawals off camera while filming these scenes. He described going 4 days without sleep, vomiting in bathrooms between takes, and physically shaking.
He called himself a manipulative functional addict. Said he was hiding behind the ex-pool boy smile, waving for the cameras, while literally fighting for his life behind the scenes. He said none of the cast knew, and he claims production didn't know.
This is where we need to have a serious conversation about the reality TV industrial complex and the duty of care. How does a multi-million-dollar production company fail to notice that one of their lead cast members is going through severe opioid withdrawal on set?
Exactly.
They have handlers, field producers, medics, and psych evaluations. It is a profound, catastrophic failure of duty of care.
How do you miss someone vomiting and shaking for 4 days? Do they just not care, or are they that oblivious?
They look for erratic behavior and label it good TV without ever questioning the medical root cause. The environment of a reality show pushes cast members to their absolute emotional and physical limits.
It's basically a pressure cooker.
They isolate them, deprive them of normal support systems, and film the fallout. In addiction psychology, there is a concept called masking, where an addict expends all their remaining energy to appear incredibly normal or even overly charming in public to deflect suspicion. Austin was masking.
When you watch that coffee shop scene again with this context, where they are both sobbing, it's not just the reality TV breakup. Gracyn is crying because she is confused and hurt by a man she loves.
But Austin is crying because he is completely broken inside.
Yes, he is carrying this massive dark secret, and he knows he is hurting her, but his brain chemistry literally does not have the capacity to maintain a partnership. Gracyn was collateral damage to a man fighting a demon she couldn't even see.
It is ethically horrifying. Gracyn was dragged into this emotional wood chipper, and Austin was left to self-destruct for our entertainment. Reality TV contracts have massive NDAs and liability waivers, essentially absolving the network of the psychological damage they inflict.
It's so messed up.
It proves that what we see on these highly edited shows is never the full story. It's a heavily curated narrative that often ignores the actual human suffering occurring just outside the frame.
It makes me feel sick to my stomach for even consuming it. Thankfully, Austin said he went to rehab immediately after. He detoxed, and he is sober now, staying with his dad away from the cameras. We send absolutely nothing but love and healing because addiction is a terrifying road.
Truly.
But you are so right, it just highlights how manufactured this all is.
And speaking of the manipulation of reality, if Gracyn was the collateral damage of a hidden addiction, Pepe is the collateral damage of a highly visible, highly orchestrated PR crisis engineered by Iris and Hannah.
Oh my God, yes.
Let's move to the great Pepe versus Irish showdown.
Babes, this is my Roman Empire right now. This is the messiest, most confusing, most infuriating storyline of the season, and it is entirely about controlling the narrative. Let's set the scene. Hannah's Christmas party? Pepe actually shows up.
The tension was palpable.
He walks in, and the temperature in the room drops to sub-zero. He goes to shake Jeremiah's hand, and Jeremiah refuses.
Groupthink in action. Jeremiah operates entirely on the perceived social currency of the group. He thought the fans would side with the Trinity, so he aligned with the Trinity.
Wait, I have to bring up Jeremiah's TikTok live about this. Jeremiah got so much backlash from fans for being a follower and refusing that handshake that he literally went on TikTok live, physically pulled up a dictionary definition of bullying on a separate screen, and read it aloud to his followers.
That is so embarrassing.
To prove that not shaking a hand isn't technically bullying, he was like, look at the Merriam-Webster definition. It's a boundary, not bullying. I was dying laughing. You are embarrassing yourself.
It's incredible how reality stars think reading a dictionary definition absolves them of cowardly behavior.
Just admit you are a clout chaser, Jeremiah.
But let's look at the actual confrontation between Pepe, TJ, and Iris, because this is a masterclass in crisis management. Pepe tries to pull TJ aside to talk man-to-man, but Iris and Hannah immediately hover.
They're like vultures.
They cannot let TJ hear Pepe out without them controlling the narrative.
TJ comes in so hot. He accuses Pepe of spreading rumors. Specifically, that Iris performed certain acts on TJ in a Koreatown bar, and that TJ had hooked up with Gracyn.
And Pepe, very calmly, denies completely. He says, I did not send that message. That is a cropped screenshot. My name isn't on it. That wasn't me.
So TJ demands that Iris pull up the original text thread on her phone to prove it. This is it. This is the climax. Produce the receipts. And what does Iris say? I literally fell off my couch.
The most predictable lie ever.
She looks down, bites her lip, and says, my phone battery is dead.
The dead phone defense. A modern tragedy.
A modern, blatant lie. The camera literally caught a B-roll shot of her phone in her hand, and the screen was illuminated. It had power. She lied on camera to avoid pulling up the texts.
Let me explain the exact PR strategy Iris is employing here. In political strategy, there is a concept called the dead cat strategy.
Wait, what is that?
If you are losing an argument or if the facts are against you, you throw a metaphorical dead cat on the dining room table. Suddenly, no one is talking about the original argument. Everyone is screaming about the dead cat.
Oh, wow.
Pepe's timeline proves Iris cheated on him. Iris overlapping Pepe with TJ ruins her brand as half of the it couple of the season.
Yeah.
So she throws a dead cat. She accuses Pepe of being a pathological, rumor-spreading liar.
Yes. The squid inking metaphor. She is like a squid blasting black ink into the water so she can escape. She creates this massive cloud of confusion and drama around Pepe so the audience loses sight of her own shady timeline.
Exactly. If she pulls up the text, it clears Pepe's name and refocuses the attention on her infidelity. Iris has now been caught lying on camera twice.
The audacity.
Last week, Charlie caught her lying about Pepe trash-talking TJ's TikToks. This week, the phantom dead battery. The mechanics are obvious.
And then, when Pepe tries to read his texts from his fully charged phone to prove his side, Iris just starts cutting him off, getting defensive, and then she literally storms off crying, playing the victim. I just can't do this.
The tears are strategic.
What are you crying about? You are the one who ran straight from the airport to TJ's bed the second you left the villa, while Pepe thought you were still exclusive.
Let's apply some logic here. What is the ultimate verdict? Are we Team Hannah and Iris or Team Pepe?
Oh, I'm going completely scorched earth on Hannah and Iris. Hannah is sitting in the corner calling Pepe chopped and an unk. He is 27 years old. You were just spooning him in the villa 2 months ago.
She has amnesia when it's convenient.
She is trying so hard to be the bodyguard of the group, but she just looks like a bitter high school bully, and Iris is projecting so hard. I am totally Team Pepe.
See, I don't think Pepe is a saint. His apology to TJ, I'm sorry if you felt disrespected, was garbage. It's a non-apology.
True, that was weak.
But I actually defend Iris's strategy. Even if it's morally bankrupt, she is a capitalist survivor.
A capitalist survivor.
Yes. If Iris admits that she overlapped Pepe with TJ, she ruins her brand. She needs Pepe to be the villain so that her cheating timeline doesn't cost her followers. The algorithm punishes messiness that isn't empowering. She needs to be the empowered victim, not the messy cheater.
Wait, I completely disagree that it's a good strategy because they are losing the PR war drastically. The internet is turning on them.
For now.
They overplayed their hand. If they had just let Pepe give his garbage apology and ignored him, it would have died. But by actively, aggressively bullying him, They made the audience sympathize with the guy who got dumped.
Yeah.
It's a massive miscalculation.
Time will tell. Outrage drives engagement just as well as adoration does. But let's move into our segments because we need to rapidly assess these disasters. Segment 1, love bomb or just bored.
Ooh. Okay. The premise is simple. We look at a grand romantic gesture from the show and decide, is this genuine connection, or are they just manufacturing filler energy to secure screen time or control? Topic Taylor flying Clark out to L.A. and paying for her hotel, her food, basically funding her life while she explores opportunities. Love bomb or just bored?
Neither. It's controlling. But if I have to choose between the parameters of the segment, it's bored.
Bored, bro.
He's bored by the fact that she doesn't know what she wants to do, so he is throwing money at the problem to speed up the process of her failing. It's a strategic investment in her ultimate capitulation to his farm life plan. It's the illusion of freedom while maintaining the leash.
It is so dark, but I agree. It feels like a trap disguised as a vacation. Okay. Topic B, Chris, repeatedly, constantly mentioning the mistletoe to Coco for 3 straight months. We got to find mistletoe. I can't wait for the mistletoe. Love bomb or bored?
That is filler energy at its absolute finest. He is bored.
Completely bored.
He likes the concept of the showmance. He knows that talking about a future kiss creates anticipation for the edit he is self-producing. But when the moment actually arrived, there was no heat, no passion, no follow-through. He likes the idea of a showmance. He does not like the reality of dating Coco.
It was pure filler. He was basically just reading lines from a prompt card in his own brain. All right, moving on to segment 2, Island Math. This is where we attempt to logically explain the chaotic relationship choices these people make and inevitably fail because the logic does not exist.
I love this segment.
Equation 1, Iris's timeline. Try to make this math work for me. I told you I would eventually talk to my ex for closure. Plus, my flight landed equals it is perfectly fine that I went straight from the airport with my luggage to his bed and got photographed by paparazzi.
Let's carry the one on this reality TV cheating logic. Iris assumes that because she gave a vague, nebulous timeline of I will talk to him eventually, she is absolved of any immediate communication. Therefore, going directly to his house without informing her current partner is totally fine because she technically pre-approved the meeting in a completely different context weeks ago. The math only works if you subtract basic respect and multiply by a desire for a U.S. weekly exclusive.
The math is absolutely not mathing. Okay, equation 2, Austin's boy math. Let's run the numbers. We are physically intimate, plus you text with my mother and sisters, plus I buy you romantic dinners, equals we are exactly the same as me and my bro Charlie.
Ah, yes, the classic Ho-Spree theorem. Austin is equating frequency of contact with depth of intention. He assumes that because he pays for Charlie's dinner, paying for Gracyn's dinner holds the exact same emotional weight.
Makes total sense, not?
He is willfully ignoring the variable of physical intimacy, claiming it has a value of 0, which completely invalidates the equation for the other person involved. It's a catastrophic miscalculation of human emotion.
It's pure delusion. Okay, segment 3, hot or just on TV. We have to debate whether these men are actually physically attractive or if we are just suffering from screen time Stockholm syndrome.
Let's hear the subjects.
Subject A, Jeremiah. TJ's mom, Lorraine, literally grabbed him and called him the most beautiful man she has ever seen. Is Jeremiah actually that hot, or is he just tall and standing next to TJ?
It's entirely the contrast effect. If you place a moderately attractive, tall man with a decent skincare routine next to the chaotic energy of TJ, who constantly looks like he just woke up from a nap in a frat house and hasn't drank water in a week, Jeremiah is going to look like an Adonis.
Oh, true.
He benefits heavily from the halo effect of being well-lit and quiet. So, to answer your question, just on TV.
I agree completely. The bar's in hell, and Jeremiah just happens to be tall enough to casually step over it.
Yeah.
Subject B, Chris Seeley. He has the whole athlete aesthetic. 6 foot something, broad shoulders, hot or just on TV.
He is aggressively just on TV. Any static physical attractiveness he possesses is instantly negated the moment he attempts kinetics. Did you watch him ice skating?
The flailing. It was terrifying.
It was an affront to physics. He has a high center of gravity and 0 control over his own limbs. Add to that the absolute unsexiness of him awkwardly dragging a woman by the fingertips through a crowded Oklahoma club while wearing an oversized t-shirt. The athlete aesthetic completely dissolves.
Completely.
He is the physical embodiment of an unread text message. Annoying, lingering, and ultimately unsatisfying.
The physical embodiment of an unread text message. I am putting that on a piece of merch. I literally love that. All right, final segment. Segment 4, say it, with your chest. This is where we deliver the lines these cowards should have said, but didn't have the spine to drop.
And a necessary exercise.
I'll start. This is what Belle should have said to Amaya at that group hang. I'm not trying to be your therapist, Amaya. I'm trying to stop you all from looking like bitter, peaked-in-high-school mean girls on national television. You're welcome.
Flawless execution. Here is what Pepe should have said when Iris claimed her phone was dead. My phone isn't dead, Iris, and neither is my memory. Stop projecting your immense guilt onto me just to save your Revolve clothing brand deals. We both know you cheated. Now step aside so I can get a drink.
Read her to absolute filth. I love it. Okay, one more. This is what Clark should have said at that foggy diner in L.A. Taylor, stop asking me about my 5-year plan. When your 5-year plan involves me staring at a tractor while you palpate a cow, go back to Oklahoma and let me post my little outfits in peace.
Direct, factual, and boundaried. If only these people possessed a fraction of our clarity.
If only. I mean, I am exhausted. My vocal cords are fried. I have yelled so much my smartwatch thinks I'm doing a high-intensity cardio workout. But we did it. We survived another week of the absolute mess. Snark Squad babes, thank you so much for locking in with us on a Wednesday night.
It takes genuine psychological endurance to process this level of delusion, so congratulations to everyone who made it to the end of this analysis.
Make sure you share this recording with your group chats, subscribe to the feed, and please, for the love of everything, send us your own messy ex stories and gaslighting moments. I need to know I'm not alone in the trenches of modern dating.
And before we go, I want to leave you with one final, slightly chilling thought to mull over. We have spent the last hour dragging Hannah and Iris for being mean girls. But what if we aren't watching Mean Girls at all?
Wait, what?
What if we're actually watching a masterclass in modern reality TV survival? Think about it. If Iris and Hannah didn't aggressively scapegoat Pepe, their couple brand would die. The cheating timeline would be exposed, their follower counts would tank, the algorithm would turn on them, and they'd lose every single one of their sponsorships.
Oh my God.
So are they actually villains, or are they just the only ones on this cast smart enough to play the ruthless capitalist game of reality television correctly?
My brain just short-circuited. I'm going to be thinking about that until next week. I hate that you might be right.
Good. Let it haunt you.
I need to go lie down and put on a red light mask. Stay glowing.
Stay messy.
And we will see you on the Snark side.